Good morning, my fellow Malaysians. This is Dr. K.N. Singh from Johor Bahru again with a comment on our PMX Anwar Ibrahim, who is currently in Crossroads, really. Dato Ambika is right. We killed ourselves hoping for a change with this new PMR government, but it seems a waste of time. I remember sitting with Rafizi and his 3-year-old son, which he always brought to the charamas in Johor Bahru, as he had no place to leave him, because he was rooting for, and we were all trying to get Akmal elected as MP. We all made sacrifices, hoping that we could change the Malaysian political system. What we went through to get Najib and Rosmah convicted in the court of law was incredible. And now our PMX Anwar is considering the possibility of reducing his sentence to a house arrest instead of the jail term. This jail term has already been reduced from 12 years to 6 years in February 2024. The fine was originally 210 million and this was reduced to 50 million. And if the fine is not paid, all you have to do is spend another year in jail. Rosmah Mansoor was originally sentenced to 10 years in prison and fined 970 million ringgit for soliciting and receiving bribes relating to the USD 279 million solar energy project in Sarawak. There was apparently a leak in the High Court judge's judgment, and he was asked by Rosmah's legal team to step down and recluse himself, which he very rightly refused because the leak was not his problem. The courts have set 10th of September 2025 to hear and review the arguments before making a decision for his reclusion. The Deputy Prime Minister, Dato Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, was granted a DNAA on 47 criminal charges relating to corruption, criminal breach of trust, and money laundering involving his charitable foundation Yayasan Akal Budi. This actually means that these charges were temporarily discontinued but not fully dismissed. The authority to discontinue prosecution and request DNAA files actually lies with the Attorney General under Article 145(3) of the Federal Constitution and also Section 254 of the Criminal Procedure Code. And that's why the decision not to grant our outgoing Chief Justice Tun Tunku Maimun Tun Mat the 6-month extension was so relevant. And the choice of the AG is also so crucial to our PMX Anwar in his coming court case. The public can actually see through all this, and there is a looming court case where Anwar's aide, Saiful Bakri Azlan, has accused PMX Anwar for sodomy in 2008. The charge of sodomy under Section 377B of the Malaysian Penal Code actually carries a penalty of 20 years of imprisonment and also whipping. There is said to be some new evidence in the current charge that Saiful has put forward. And if this is brought to court, it will have a really negative effect on this case. And apparently the prosecution thinks that the PMX will lose this case, which is serious. In the past, Malaysian public felt that these charges against PMX Anwar were politically motivated, but in the light of new evidence which will be presented, and let's see what it is, as it's not right to speculate, and only then we will make our decision. Now that is why the appointment of the AG and the new Chief Justice is so important, as they will have to decide on the PMX prosecution in this new case. They will have to decide who the judge is. The list has been presented to the Agong, and I hope the Agong will personally review these candidates, as it is so important to the judiciary. Judicial leadership and case administration is always supervised by the Chief Justice, and this actually sets the tone for court independence and can influence case management priorities at the highest levels. We have had an incredible Chief Justice in Tun Tunku Maimun, and that is why if she had continued to be our CJ, then none of us would have any doubt that these procedures would be handled properly. Delayed or vacant appointments will raise uncertainties about court processes, scheduling, and even judicial morale. In Anwar's trial, judicial decisions, including bench selections, trial timetables, and procedural rulings, are ultimately flow from the leadership which is set by the Chief Justice. Prosecution authority rests solely with the Attorney General, who wields significant power, including initiating, continuing, or discontinuing criminal procedures. The AG can submit or withdraw charges, respond to representation letters from defense, such as requests to drop or amend charges. This will affect a prosecutorial strategy which he controls. The new CJ and the AG, if they are perceived as impartial and competent, will bolster confidence we have in the judiciary, and we will be sure that Anwar's case and other high-profile cases will be dealt with fairly and free of political interference. Current vacancies and interim arrangements in the judiciary have raised big concerns among legal professionals and the public about potential delays and inconsistencies in ongoing cases, including PMX Anwar's case. The next election will be held in 2027, which is not too far away, and as far as PKR and PMX Anwar, they have been real disappointment. We all relied that things will turn around, but PKR just seems to be an extension of UMNO with a new name. His rallying call for reformasi now rings hollow, as is his promise to wipe out corruption. His dealing with the DPM smells of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. The promise to the nation is forgotten. In 2027 general election, PMX Anwar will be dumped by the Malaysian public. Now we are all wondering who is next. I personally feel that Rafizi is our next hope, and Nurul could add to that, but without the influence of her father Anwar. They will both deliver, though sadly, Nurul has now to follow her father with parental loyalties, even when he's wrong. I hope her father PMX Anwar will find a way to think of the nation first and also the family and do the right thing, as if this matter goes to court and if he is convicted with the new evidence that the lawyers seem to have, Nurul's and her mother's future in Malaysian politics will come to a very unkind end, through no fault of theirs except for blind loyalty to the father. Meanwhile, my friends, all we can do is pray for Malaysia. This is Dr. K.N. Singh from JB, wishing all you Malaysians a great day. Thank you for listening.